Hi guys, thanks to all you Ivy Theater students for coming here over to my house. What with the school still being closed because it's summer and everything. I looked over our mock exams and the feedback, and so today we're going to do a little micro lesson on getting all of your great learning into just 15 minutes in a way that's clear and compelling. And I've made a little PowerPoint for you, and I'll put that on our website just like I always do. We're going to have a little reflection on the conversation we had. You told me what are your biggest questions, and then we're going to go through the presentation piece by piece. Next class, we're going to do a little bibliography workshop, and I want you, by the end of this, to be able to construct a really good part A and B to present to somebody else for next class. So when we went over our mock research presentations, the two things you told me you most needed was organizing your work in a way that you can all get it into the time limit. And I really understand that. And the other one was working on citations and your bibliography and getting that into your work. That's a little more boring, so I'm going to talk about it a little today, but I'm going to get it into next times. My little preview is here. We're going to do it thoroughly next class. It's not really that hard. Even me, an English teacher, I have to look at it again every year, but we can do it. Remember, a URL is not a citation. It's not enough just to have the URL. That means you can't just copy that URL. But you do need those URLs to make your citations later. A lot of years I have kids saying, oh, I don't know where I got that image, or I don't know where I got that. And then they spend, and by spend I mean waste. They waste a lot of time going back and trying to find where they found an image or a quote. So bookmark everything. I told you at the very beginning of this to make a folder that is your research presentation folder. Include images, any videos you watch, any other sources. That includes non-digital things, of course, any of the articles I've handed to you or any books you're using. You can use all this information for all of your IB assessments, not just theater, so be ready for that. Overall, here's your organization. I want to let you know, I want to help you organize your slideshow to guide you, but you have to know your material. You can't just read it off your slideshow. You gotta use the vocabulary of the assessment. You have to say tradition. You have to say convention. I want you to use the specialized vocabulary of your tradition and of your convention and pronounce it correctly. If you don't know how to pronounce something, go look it up. You should use images, but they're there to elaborate, not decorate. You've always got to talk about them because they are describing. You have to be the one explaining, telling why that's there and what we're seeing. Finally, I've made a little template that I'm going to give you, and use that template to help guide your work. The sentence stems I've given you are so boring you could just use them, but as you go, turn them into something of your own. But if you follow that guide, you will never leave anything out, and you'll keep to a really clear budget of time. So I'm going to go over hints from the mocks that we did, part A. When we talked about our mocks, first of all, have a little introduction that signposts and tells them what to listen for. Don't forget, tell them what you're going to tell them, tell them that you told them. Just like if you were writing an essay. Use the words tradition, convention, action, setting, design, cultural relevance. Use all the words that go into a good IB assessment. Then use the vocabulary specific to that tradition and convention. It might be mask, LOTC. It might be something else depending on your tradition that I can't think of right now. Put it into your slides. Those are key terms that should be in your slides. Pronounce them correctly. Point to the slides and read and refer to everything there. The slide is a list. You're listing with the slides. Explaining is what you're going to do. State your sources out loud by putting them into your narrative. And that I did for you on the little template I gave you. According to website, interview, book, my tradition of, name the tradition, can be defined as, then you give your definition. Don't just give the definition. Where'd you learn it? Because it's expert information. What is it? Say the word tradition. Then give me the definition. According to such and so theater company, the stage space is, tell me what it is. Cool, so you can use that little template to help you there. If you're saying because or by doing this, that means you're explaining it. And that's really where you want to be. It answers why and how. And as soon as you're doing that, how is a little bit describing. If you're answering why, then you're explaining. Cool? Well, we've gone a little over our time, but I'm going to keep going anyhow. Just the number one thing, the spirit of part A, once you've got all the information in there, give it some subjective truth, meaning true to you. Tell the story of how the unfamiliar became familiar with you. Focus on telling me about what's fascinating, challenging, interesting, confusing. You're going to be giving a lot of facts. In 5 minutes, you can't tell everything. So pick those things. Don't make it just Siri reading the Wikipedia page. Let me say that again. Don't make it Siri reading the Wikipedia page. You're going to have to eliminate some facts because you can't get everything into 5 minutes. Tell me what was fascinating, challenging, and interesting and unfamiliar to you. Cool? This adheres to the spirit of the task. It adheres to the IB Learner profile, and it would lead nicely into your Part C, which we're going to work on in about 3 weeks. Sound good? Well, that was 7 minutes. I thought I'd get through Part A and Part B, but I got through just Part A. It looks like you guys all have a little bit of work to do, so go get it. Thanks for coming over and listening to our lesson.